Welcome back to another exciting video where we explore the fascinating world of British coinage. Today's journey takes us deep into the history of the United Kingdom's 3-pence coins, often known as threepence in everyday speech. These small yet historically rich coins carry stories of monarchs, economic changes, and designs that have captivated collectors for decades. While millions were once in circulation, some rare examples have now become highly sought-after treasures in the numismatic world. In this video, we will uncover the most valuable top 7 3-pence coins, explore their unique backgrounds, examine their conditions, and discuss their surprising values in today's auction market, often reaching thousands of dollars. So let's get started. First up, we are going to explore a fascinating piece of history, the United Kingdom 3-pence coin from the year 1943. At first glance, it may look like just another small coin from the wartime era, but when preserved in fine condition, this coin has become highly desirable in today's collector's market, with some examples fetching impressive prices at auctions in dollars. So let's dive into the story of this unique coin and see why it is so valuable today. The history of the 1943 3-pence coin takes us back to the midst of the Second World War. Britain was facing tremendous challenges, and even its currency was influenced by the war. Unlike the traditional silver or nickel-based coins of earlier years, the 3-pence of this era was struck in brass, an alloy of copper and zinc, which was more economical and easier to produce during wartime shortages. This 12-sided coin, introduced in 1937 under King George VI, quickly became known as the threepenny bit and remained popular for decades. The 1943 issue is especially significant because it reflects the resilience of Britain during the most difficult years of the war. One of the most striking features of the 1943 3-pence is its distinctive 12-sided shape, which made it easy to identify by touch even in the dark. On the obverse side, the coin proudly displays the left-facing portrait of King George VI, the father of Queen Elizabeth II, surrounded by the Latin inscription Georgiv 6 DGBROMN, REX FD IND IMP, meaning George VI, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, Defender of the Faith, Emperor of India. On the reverse side, the coin features a beautiful design of a thrift plant, symbolizing thriftiness and resilience, which was highly appropriate for a wartime coin when resources were scarce. These features make the coin not only historically important, but also artistically remarkable. Now let's talk about rarity and collector demand. While millions of 3-pence coins were minted during the 1940s, the survival rate of coins in fine or better condition is relatively low. Many of these coins were used heavily in circulation, showing significant wear and tear. That is why finding an example from 1943 in fine or higher condition is considered special. Collectors often search for coins that retain strong detail, with the king's portrait clear and the thrift plant design visible without excessive smoothing. This makes well-preserved examples far more desirable, and demand has grown steadily among both British and international collectors. When it comes to current market value, the 1943 3-pence, in ordinary worn condition, might only be worth a few dollars, but when preserved in fine condition, the price increases significantly. In today's auction market, examples in fine to very fine condition can fetch anywhere between $15,000, while coins in extremely fine or uncirculated grades have been known to sell for over $20,000. Rare varieties, such as misstrikes or coins with minting errors, can command even higher prices, sometimes several thousands dollars. This is what makes the 1943 3-pence an exciting coin to look out for in collections, old coin jars, or even at flea markets. For collectors, there are a few tips to keep in mind. First, always examine the condition carefully. Details like clear lettering, visible lines on the plant design, and a strong portrait of the king add significantly to the value. Second, storing the coin properly is essential. Avoid cleaning it harshly, as that can damage its surface and reduce its worth. Instead, use protective coin holders or albums to preserve its condition. Lastly, if you plan to sell or buy, consider reputable auction houses or numismatic dealers to ensure authenticity and fair pricing. The United Kingdom 3-pence coin of 1943 is more than just a small wartime coin. It is a piece of British history, a symbol of resilience, and a collectible that continues to attract attention in today's auction markets. Whether you already own one in fine condition or hope to discover one someday, this coin represents both historical value and financial potential. So next time you come across an old brass 12-sided coin, take a closer look. It might just be worth far more than you expect. Next up, we'll be looking at the United Kingdom 3-pence coin from 1941, a small yet historically significant coin that has attracted the attention of collectors worldwide. Even in lightly rusty condition, this coin has a fascinating story, and its value in the collector's market today may surprise you. So, if you've ever come across one of these coins in your family's old collection or in a coin jar, you'll definitely want to stay tuned until the end. The 3p coin, often affectionately called the threepence or threepenny bit by the British public, was a part of the UK's pre-decimal currency system. The 1941 3p coin holds a special place in history, as it was minted during the dark years of the Second World War. At that time, Britain was facing immense pressure on its resources, and the Royal Mint was tasked with producing durable coins that could withstand circulation. This particular coin is made of brass, a copper-zinc alloy, and was the very first of its kind in the 3p series. The brass design replaced the earlier silver versions due to wartime shortages of precious metals. With its distinctive 12-sided shape, the 1941 3p coin became an instantly recognizable piece of everyday currency. One of the most striking aspects of the 1941 3p is its unusual 12-sided design, which was unique compared to most other British coins of the era. On the obverse, you will find the portrait of King George VI, who was the ruling monarch at the time. This portrait is surrounded by the Latin inscription Georgiv 6d, G, Br, Omen, Rex F laughing face, IND, IMP, which translates to George VI, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, Defender of the Faith, Emperor of India. The reverse features a bold design of a thrift plant, symbolizing resilience and thriftiness, a theme that resonated deeply with the British people during wartime rationing. The year 1941 is inscribed beneath, making it clear this coin was struck during a time of great global turmoil. Its brass composition and iconic dodecagonal shape make it stand out as one of the more interesting coins in British numismatic history. While millions of these coins were minted, finding a 1941 3p in collectible condition has become increasingly difficult. Many coins from this period were heavily circulated, exposed to moisture, and often developed rust or corrosion over the decades. That makes coins in lightly rusty but still identifiable condition a topic of interest for collectors, as they reflect the true history of use and survival. Collectors especially value these coins not just for their numismatic worth, but also because they are pieces of World War II history. The 1941 date connects directly to Britain's resilience during the Blitz and the wider war effort. Because of this historical context, even imperfect coins like those with light rusting can draw attention at auctions. Now, let's talk about the big question: how much is the 1941 3p worth in today's auction market? A typical example in circulated condition with light rust may fetch between $12,000 depending on its overall appearance and how visible the details remain. However, if you happen to own one in better preserved condition, lightly worn with minimal damage, its value can rise to around $18,500 at auctions or collector sales. In rare cases, exceptionally fine examples, especially those graded by professional services, can bring in $20,500 or more. While a lightly rusty coin may not reach the top end of the market, it still has collector demand because of its historical significance. In fact, some collectors actively seek out coins that show age and wear, as they are considered more authentic, wartime relics. If you're interested in collecting the 1941 3p, here are a few tips. First, always check the overall condition of the coin. Details such as the portrait of King George VI and the thrift plant design should still be visible, even if lightly rusty. Second, handle the coin carefully and avoid using harsh chemicals to clean it, as improper cleaning can reduce its collector value. Instead, store it in a dry, protective holder to prevent further rusting. Lastly, if you plan to buy or sell one, keep an eye on reputable auction houses and online marketplaces, as prices can vary significantly depending on buyer demand. The United Kingdom 3p coin from 1941 is more than just a small piece of brass. It is a symbol of wartime Britain, resilience, and history captured in coinage. Even in lightly rusty condition, this coin can hold a surprising value in today's auction markets, and it's always worth checking your old collections to see if you have one tucked away. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, the 1941 3p is a fascinating coin that deserves a place in any collection. Next up, the United Kingdom 3p coin from the year 1937. Even if this coin is found in rusty or damaged condition, it can still surprise collectors in today's auction market with its big value in dollars. So, stay tuned as we explore its history, features, rarity, and what makes it such a fascinating piece for coin collectors around the world. The The story of the 1937 3-pence coin begins during the reign of King George VI. This was the very first year of his reign, following the abdication crisis of his brother, King Edward VIII. To mark the new monarch, a brand new coinage was introduced in 1937, and the brass 3-pence coin was one of the most distinctive. Unlike earlier silver versions, this coin was struck in nickel brass, giving it a yellow-golden look when freshly minted. Its dodecagonal 12-sided shape made it stand out from other coins in circulation and prevented confusion with other denominations. One of the most unique features of the 1937 3-pence is its unusual design. On the obverse side, we see the portrait of King George VI, wearing the crown and facing left. The inscription around the portrait reads, Georgievs 6D, G, BR, OMN, Rex F laughing face, IND, IMP, which translates to George VI, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, Defender of the Faith, Emperor of India. On the reverse side, the coin carries the image of a thrift plant, a hardy flower that symbolized resilience and growth, very fitting for the era leading up to World War II. This unique combination of design and history gives the 1937 3-pence coin a very special place in numismatics. Now let's talk about rarity. While millions of 3-pence coins were struck during the reign of King George VI, the early issues like 1937 are among the most collectible, especially when preserved. Even in rusty or circulated condition, they hold strong appeal because they represent the very beginning of this iconic brass threepenny series. Collectors always look for first-year issues, and 1937 is exactly that. Over time, most of these coins faced heavy circulation, environmental damage, and rusting due to exposure. So finding an original 1937 3-pence today, even in a worn or rusty state, can be considered a prize. In today's auction market, the value of a 1937 3-pence coin depends heavily on condition. A heavily circulated or rusty coin might fetch anywhere between $10,500, depending on how badly it is worn. However, coins in fine or very fine condition can rise to $18,500 or more, and if you are lucky enough to own one in uncirculated or mint state, the value can easily climb into the $20,000 at auctions. Collectors especially compete for coins that still have their golden shine and sharp details. For collectors, a few tips can help when dealing with the 1937 3-pence coin. First, always handle old coins with care. Never try to clean them harshly, as cleaning can actually lower their value. Even a rusty coin has more authenticity and appeal when kept in its natural state. Second, try to store your coins in protective holders or albums to prevent further damage. And finally, if you ever come across a 1937 3-pence in good shape, make sure to check auction houses and online coin marketplaces to get the best value in dollars. The United Kingdom 3-pence coin from 1937 is more than just a piece of old currency. It's a slice of history from the early reign of King George VI, a coin that marked the beginning of a new era in British coinage. Even in rusty condition, it holds collector interest and can fetch a surprising amount of money in today's auction market. So, the next time you come across this small 12-sided coin, remember, it could be worth much more than you think. Next up, the 1962 version of the 3-pence was struck under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, who had just taken the throne a decade earlier in 1952. This was a period when Britain was transitioning out of post-war austerity, and coins like the 3-pence were a familiar part of daily life. The 1962 coin is particularly significant because it represents the early years of Queen Elizabeth II's long reign. Millions were minted for circulation, but over the decades, many were lost, melted down, or worn beyond recognition. Those that survive today in fine condition carry both historical and collectible importance, making them highly desirable for collectors. What makes the 1962 3-pence coin unique is its distinctive design. Unlike most circular coins, this one features a 12-sided shape, which immediately sets it apart in appearance and feel. The obverse side displays the first official portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick. This portrait is highly admired for its youthful depiction of the Queen, without a crown, symbolizing freshness and a new era for the British monarchy. On the reverse side, the coin features a beautiful image of a Tudor portcullis, which is a gate often associated with the Palace of Westminster, designed by artist Edgar Fuller and sculptor Cecil Thomas. The portcullis design, paired with the date 1962 at the bottom, gives the coin an elegant yet strong representation of British tradition and heritage. Its nickel brass composition, with its golden hue, further makes it a standout among other pre-decimal coins. Now, let's talk about what makes this coin rare and highly sought after in the market. While millions of 3-pence coins were struck in 1962, most of them were heavily used in circulation and are now found in very poor condition. Coins that remain in fine condition, with visible details on both the Queen's portrait and the portcullis design, are not easy to come by. Collectors place great importance on coins that have survived the test of time with minimal wear, making these pieces far more valuable than heavily circulated examples. The rarity factor is also tied to the coin's age, as pre-decimal coins are no longer produced, and every surviving piece essentially becomes a part of history. The demand among collectors, especially those interested in Queen Elizabeth II's early coinage, continues to grow, and as a result, well-preserved examples of the 1962 3-pence coin have gained significant attention in auctions. So, how much can a United Kingdom 1962 3-pence coin in fine condition fetch in today's auction market? The value depends on the grade, rarity of condition, and demand at the time of sale. On average, circulated examples in poor condition may only be worth a couple of dollars, but coins in fine condition, with clear details and less wear, can easily attract between $17,500 at auctions. However, in cases where the coin is exceptionally well-preserved approaching very fine, or even extremely fine condition, the value can climb much higher, sometimes reaching $20,560 or more. Collectors often compete for such examples, especially if the coin has been well-maintained with no rust, damage, or excessive scratches. For those of you who might have a 1962 3-pence coin in your collection, here are a few tips. First, always check the condition carefully. Look for clear visibility of the Queen's portrait and the portcullis design. Second, avoid cleaning the coin, as cleaning can reduce its value dramatically in the eyes of serious collectors. Instead, store it safely in a coin holder or protective case to preserve its natural patina and details. If you are looking to buy one, auctions and reputable coin dealers are the best places to ensure authenticity. Keep an eye on auction houses, both online and offline, because coins in fine or better condition often appear in bidding wars that drive their value higher. The United Kingdom 3-pence 1962 coin may be small in size, but it carries a rich history and holds a special place in the world of British numismatics. With its unique 12-sided design, early portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, and scarcity in fine condition, it has become a treasure that collectors are eager to own. In today's auction markets, this coin is no longer just a piece of pocket change. It's a valuable collectible that can fetch impressive sums in dollars. Take a closer look, you might just be holding on to a small fortune. Next up, we are exploring the story of the United Kingdom 3-pence coin from the year 1960, a small but historic piece of currency that holds great significance for collectors. While it may appear ordinary at first glance, when found in very fine condition, this coin becomes a true treasure with surprising value in today's auction markets, especially in dollars. We'll cover its history, unique features, rarity, collector demand, and current market value, along with some tips for collectors who may want to add this rare piece to their collection. The United Kingdom 3-pence, often affectionately called the threepenny bit, has a long and rich history. The coin was first introduced in 1937 under King George VI, replacing the earlier silver 3-pence with a more modern design. By 1960, the monarch on the throne was Queen Elizabeth II, and her youthful portrait appeared proudly on the obverse of the coin. The coin was part of the pre-decimal currency system in Britain, where 12 pence made a shilling and 20 shillings made a pound. It was widely used in daily transactions, but with the decimalization of the British currency in 1971, the 3-pence coin was withdrawn from circulation. This makes coins from the 1960s particularly significant, as they were among the last issues of this distinctive series before the transition to modern decimal coinage. The 1963 pence coin is instantly recognizable because of its unique dodecagonal or 12-sided shape, which made it stand out from other coins of the time. It was struck in brass, giving it a distinct golden color, unlike the silver coins that preceded it. On the obverse side, we see the first official portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick. This portrait shows the Queen wearing a laurel wreath, symbolizing youth, strength, and continuity. On the reverse side, designed by Francis Howard, we find a bold image of a Tudor portcullis with chains, a historic emblem often associated with the British Parliament and authority. The year 1960 is clearly inscribed at the bottom, marking its date of issue. The coin weighs around 6.8 grams and has a diameter of 21 millimeters, making it small yet heavy in the hand due to its brass composition. Its detailed design and unusual shape make it instantly appealing to collectors and history enthusiasts. Although millions of 3-pence coins were minted in 1960, finding one in very fine condition today is not an easy task. The coin was heavily used in everyday life, and most surviving examples are found in poor or circulated condition, often with scratches, dullness, or wear. Coins that have survived in very fine or even uncirculated condition are rare, as they manage to avoid the heavy handling of circulation. These high-grade examples are what collectors are after, and because of this, their demand in the auction market is significantly higher. Collectors value the coin not just for its historical importance, but also as a representative of the early reign of Queen Elizabeth II and as one of the last pre-decimal issues before the major currency changeover in 1971. So, how much is the United Kingdom 3-pence 1960 worth today? The value depends heavily on its condition. A worn or heavily circulated example may only be worth a few dollars, often between $13,700. However, in very fine condition, the value rises considerably. Collectors in the United States and worldwide are willing to pay anywhere from $15,980 for coins in very fine to extremely fine grades. At auctions, examples in mint state or uncirculated condition have been known to fetch even higher prices, sometimes crossing the $25,000 mark, depending on collector interest and the demand at the time of sale. This shows that even a small brass coin, when preserved carefully, can be worth a surprising amount in today's market. If you are interested in collecting the 1963 pence coin, here are some important tips. Always pay attention to condition, as this directly affects value. Coins in very fine or better condition should be stored in protective holders or cases to prevent tarnishing and wear. Avoid cleaning the coin, as cleaning can actually reduce its value significantly in the eyes of collectors. It is also worth keeping an eye on auction sites and reputable dealers, where rare and high-grade examples appear from time to time. Research recent sales to understand the going rates in the market, and if you find one at a reasonable price, it could be a smart addition to your collection, especially considering the long-term value of coins from the early reign of Queen Elizabeth II. The United Kingdom 3-pence 1960 is more than just a small piece of brass. It is a historic coin that represents Britain's currency before decimalization, the early years of Queen Elizabeth II's reign, and a design that collectors cherish. In very fine condition, this coin is a true rarity, commanding strong prices in today's auction markets, especially in dollars. So, the next time you come across one of these 12-sided beauties, take a closer look. It might just be worth far more than you imagine. Next up, we will dive into the story of the United Kingdom 3-pence coin from the year 1953, a coin that is not only a piece of monetary history, but also a sought-after collectible that can fetch a surprising value in today's auction markets. Even in fine condition, this coin holds rarity, heritage, and demand, making it a true gem for collectors around the world. If you own one of these coins, you might be holding on to more than just old currency. You could be holding a valuable treasure worth real money in dollars. The 1953 3-pence coin comes from a very special period in British history. This was the year of Queen Elizabeth II's coronation, marking the beginning of her long and historic reign. Coins minted in 1953 were part of the coronation year sets, which were issued to celebrate this royal milestone. The 3-pence coin itself, often called the threepenny bit, was originally introduced in 1937 during the reign of King George VI and continued under Queen Elizabeth II. Its 12-sided shape and distinctive design made it stand out from other coins of the time. By 1953, Britain was transitioning in both currency and monarchy, and the 3-pence was an everyday coin in circulation that carried strong cultural significance. What makes the 1953 3-pence coin particularly special are its unique features. Struck in brass, it has a distinct golden appearance that immediately catches the eye. The obverse side of the coin bears the first portrait of the young Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick, which is considered one of the most beautiful and iconic images of the Queen ever used on coinage. The reverse side features a crowned Tudor portcullis design created by the artist Edgar Fuller, a design that reflects British heritage and tradition. The 12-sided shape is another fascinating element, making it instantly recognizable and very different from round coins. When preserved in fine condition, these details remain sharp and clear, adding to the overall appeal for collectors. The rarity of the 1953 3-pence coin lies not just in its age, but also in its connection to the coronation year. While millions of coins were minted for circulation, relatively few survive today in fine or better condition. Many of these coins were heavily used in everyday transactions, which means examples with preserved details are far less common. Collectors highly value the coin because it represents the first coinage of Queen Elizabeth II's reign and ties directly to her coronation, a historic event that still holds significance today. The demand for these coins has only grown in recent years as collectors seek to complete coronation year sets or preserve pieces of royal history. When it comes to the current market value, the 1953 3 pence in fine condition can surprise many. While an average circulated piece may only bring a few dollars, examples in fine or very fine condition often command higher prices at auctions and collector markets. In today's auction market, a 1953 3 pence in fine condition can be valued between $15,800, depending on the sharpness of detail and the overall preservation of the coin. However, coins that are exceptionally well preserved, especially those in uncirculated or proof-like condition, can fetch $22,500, particularly when sold as part of a coronation year set. This makes the 1953 3 pence a coin worth checking carefully, as its value can be much higher than expected. For collectors interested in the 1953 3 pence, there are a few tips to keep in mind. Always check the condition of the coin carefully, as coins with clear details on the Queen's portrait and the portcullis design are more desirable. Look out for coins with minimal wear, no major scratches, and an even brass tone, as these are often worth more. If you have multiple coins, consider getting them professionally graded, as a certified grade can significantly increase auction value. And most importantly, store your coin properly in a protective holder or case to prevent further wear or tarnish, since condition plays a key role in determining its market price. The United Kingdom 3 pence 1953 is far more than just an old coin. It is a historical piece from the coronation year of Queen Elizabeth II, a coin with unique design features and an enduring charm that makes it highly collectible. Even in fine condition, it carries notable value in today's auction markets, often fetching impressive sums in dollars. For anyone holding onto this coin, it represents not only a link to the past, but also a potential treasure for the future. So, check your collections carefully. You might be sitting on a valuable piece of British history. Next up, we will be exploring a truly remarkable coin, the United Kingdom 3 pence from 1954. While at first glance it may look like an ordinary coin, collectors know that this particular year is one of the most fascinating and rare in the entire series. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the history, its unique design, the story behind its rarity, and the astonishing value it can achieve in today's auction market when found in fine condition. The 3 pence, also known as the threepenny bit, or threepence, was an important part of everyday life in Britain for centuries. By the 20th century, the coin took on a distinctive 12-sided brass design introduced in 1937 during the reign of King George VI. This version quickly became iconic, being used in everyday transactions until decimalization in 1971. Now, when we look at 1954, we are in the period after Queen Elizabeth II ascended the throne in 1952. During the early years of her reign, the Royal Mint was adjusting coin production to suit circulation needs. Interestingly, in 1954, official records show that no 3 pence coins were struck for circulation. However, a very small number were believed to have been produced either as trial strikes, pattern pieces, or for official collections. This is what makes the 1954 3 pence one of the rarest and most sought-after coins in the entire series. The United Kingdom 3 pence of 1954 carries the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, designed by Mary Gillick. This is her youthful effigy, uncrowned, which collectors regard as one of the most attractive royal portraits on British coinage. On the reverse, the coin features the distinctive Tudor portcullis with chains and a crown above, designed by Humphrey Paget. This design became symbolic of the denomination and makes the coin instantly recognizable. What truly sets the 1954 issue apart is its extreme rarity. While millions of 3 pence coins were struck in other years, the 1954 piece exists only in minuscule numbers, making it not only historically important, but also a treasure for numismatists. Rarity is always a key factor in determining a coin's value, and the 1954 3 pence sits at the very top of the rarity chart. Since there were no general circulation coins minted that year, collectors who wish to complete a full set of Queen Elizabeth II's 3 pence coins find 1954 to be the hardest and most expensive to obtain. Even in fine condition, which means the coin has seen some circulation but still retains a decent amount of detail, it remains extremely desirable. Serious collectors, investors, and even museums compete for the chance to own such a rare piece. Because so few examples are available, demand always far outweighs supply, pushing its auction price into impressive figures. When it comes to auction value, The 1954 United Kingdom 3 pence can be astonishing. In fine condition, examples have been known to sell for thousands of dollars. Higher-grade specimens, especially those in extremely fine or uncirculated condition, can fetch tens of thousands, depending on the rarity of the strike and the buyer's demand. In today's market, even a fine-condition 1954 3 pence could achieve anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 or more, depending on the auction and interest from collectors. The upper ranges for better grades can go well beyond $10,000 to $15,000, making this small coin one of the most valuable British coins of the modern era. If you're lucky enough to come across a 1954 3 pence, the first step is to verify its authenticity. Because of its rarity, there are many replicas and reproductions in circulation, and only genuine examples hold real value. Having the coin examined by a professional numismatist or grading service can give you a clear idea of its condition and worth. Collectors should also pay close attention to the coin's condition. Even small scratches or corrosion can reduce its value, but given the rarity of this piece, almost all genuine examples are still considered highly collectible. For anyone seeking to add it to their collection, it is wise to follow major auction houses, keep an eye on specialist dealers, and always purchase from trusted sources. The United Kingdom 3 pence of 1954 is not just a coin. It is a piece of history, a symbol of rarity, and a true numismatic treasure. From its fascinating background as a coin that was never officially released for circulation, to its stunning design and astronomical auction values, it stands as one of the crown jewels of British coin collecting. Whether you are a seasoned collector or just beginning your journey in numismatics, the 1954 3 pence serves as a reminder that sometimes the smallest coins carry the biggest stories and the greatest value. So check your collections, explore your family heirlooms, knows you might just have one of these rare treasures sitting in your possession. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with fellow coin enthusiasts. And let us know in the comments which 3 pence coin you'd most like to own. Until next time, happy collecting!